Hey everybody, Steven here playing Subnautica Below Zero, and it is the last day of April, and the Frostbite update just hit. And with this, it's one of the things I've been saying, hey, they're supposed to do an update in April, wasn't sure, and then it's the last video I recorded yesterday, I was like, I don't know if it's going to happen. And they surprised, I think, everybody with this, just because it is the very last day of the month with this. So this, for everybody that's been waiting, that aren't in the experimental build, you actually get to play the new story here. You will see this warning just saying, hey, this is under construction, and old saves will no longer function with this. So let's go ahead and start this up. So completely new story. So we are no longer using Tom Jubert's, the original writer, his story. This is going to be Jill Murray's story here. Completely new intro. They've completely redone the Glacial Basin. They've updated a lot of things for the Purple Vents biome and then the lily pad biome as well. We have new voice actresses for Sam and Robin. Although those may be placeholders. Obraxis, one of the developers, has actually commented on some of these videos. So these would be for Robin, this would be the 4th new voice actress for her. But they're having difficulty with the COVID stuff, finding ways to essentially record for everybody here. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm just going to let this roll.
You sure you want to go through the storm? You crashed. We can't come back for you.
I know. I need cover from that sentinel.
So new intro music from Ben, is it Purdy? So the Vespers have become the Sentinels now, using the meteor as cover to kind of fly under the radar there.
Approaching 45-46 feet. Surface temperatures. Life pod deployed.
So this is going to kind of be reminiscent of the first game's intro in terms of crash landing on the planet. Alright, and this has come a long way. I have a ton of videos covering, like, weekly, the process and the evolution of this, if anybody wants to watch those.
Welcome to 45-46 feet. Enjoy your stay.
And this is a completely new area that they made for this crash landing. With this, we have, and this is going to be new intro here, made it to 45-46B. Landing was a bit rough, but I don't think Altera spotted me. I hid from their satellites. The drop pod deployed with gusto. I just have to find it and get settled, then I'll be able to get to work. No voice work with that yet, right? But with this, we have kind of nutrient blocks and flares, and then we have water kind of scattered everywhere. And then this drop shit explodes here. There we go, water, the trail. But like I said, this is a new area. This didn't exist before. So we have this. Also, second big thing, notice that there is a cold meter now. You can freeze to death. So with this, we have kind of ice forming around the screen. Ways to combat against that. You can find the heat lilies here. You can jump in water and swim. And then they have the heat fruit that you can eat as well. And the cold suit still in game, it just kind of slows that process down a little bit, so it doesn't completely eliminate it. So there's a lot going on with this that I'm going to try to showcase for everybody. Some of this may still be an experimental. I'll try to make note of that when I come across that, or when I showcase that if I can. If I just don't mention it, you guys are looking for it and it's not there, it does mean that it is in the experimental build, so my apologies for not clarifying if that's the case. With this, I'm going to open up the console commands here. Let's go into free cam mode. Let's get rid of the weather for a second. So let's showcase just from the map's perspective here. This is the new area that you kind of crash land in. Research Base 0. The research base that you, with the previous intro, woke up and is still there. It's just right over here. So they've essentially shifted everything over, and then they got rid of the second mountain top there. So if I'm right here, right, this is kind of where we exit. If I go forward a little bit and just follow this around, there's actually an opening over here. Now you have the brinicles you have to watch out for, because if you touch those you'll freeze, right? There's a tunnel underneath here. You come up, you can walk up here, and then you're back at Research Base 0. Okay, we don't have the radio tower or anything right here with this. And you can follow it up to the base that is here, which the new name for this is the Warp Gate Base. So I don't think this is going to be in-game for you guys, which is this right here. So if you're not in the experimental build, I don't think this is going to be in there. I may be wrong, but, and obviously it's not finished, but this is the Warp Gate Base, which has replaced the previous base. And then you won't even go through here like you did with the old intro. So it's just here. You won't use it. But yeah, so we have that. And then we can exit here. They also have the call logs. They should be in-game, although I'm not 100% sure how you'll get them in-game just yet. In terms of links to the story and things like that, they're still working on a lot of that stuff. But you can hear the new voice actress for Sam as well. And matter of fact, let's kind of cue that up here. So I'll ghost in. That way everybody can hear it. They've been working, by the way, on the animations for the penguins, and a lot of animations for the Snowstalker as well. So I have some videos covering some of that. We'll look at the Snowstalkers. You can also, if it won't let me do it here, you can pick up snow and throw snowballs at these guys. But let's check out this. If I can find them. There it is. So this is going to be a call between Sam and Robin. I'm not going to cover all these. I've done that in a separate video, but just so you can hear. Also, take note, this is the XenoWorks PDA here. So with the XenoWorks PDA, that's going to be part of the new story, because it's the company that you work for that's been bought by Altera. So you have a different PDA.
Robin, guess what? I got it. Oh, the extraplanetary mission to 4546b? Did you forget? Or you think it's silly because Altera...
No. Congrats. This is great. Now you'll be able to,
improve the mechanical avian amphibian under real-world stress conditions?
Yay.
All right. I know your stance on Altera already. So, can you watch Augie while I'm away?
You mean Potato?
Why do you call him that?
It's his true name. Everyone knows the best cat names are food-derived. He's the best cat, and potatoes are the best food. So it follows that...
I'll find someone else.
I'd be honored to do it.
So there you can hear the new voice actresses with that. I don't know. My assumption is once everything kind of opens back up and they're able to record, I don't know if they're going to keep these or not. That's one of those things still up in the air. I know a lot of people want the first voice actress. She did a really great job, myself included with that. But we'll see. So those are there. I don't know how you find them. I'm using console commands to just bring these up to showcase them to everybody. The next thing, so if you look at your kind of items that require batteries, you actually have a new user interface here where it shows you the battery itself. So as you use this, that yellow line will go down indicating that the battery is losing life there. So that is very cool. Another just improvement that they've made with everything. With that, we actually have the glass compartments in game as well. They finally added those in. And then everybody should be getting access to, and I believe these were in game already prior to this, but just to point it out again, the shower, the fridge, all these things here as well. So another cool item that we have is the quantum locker. Now I'm going to have to spend some time looking around how do you get this in game. I do not know that for sure just yet, but this is a quantum locker. So I know for other people that play Minecraft, is it the Ender's chest? I think is the name of it. I just think of the safe from Terraria, where essentially you'll build 2 of these, right? And you can leave, or more than that, but essentially anything you put in here is going to be in any of these, right? No matter where on the map these are. You can open this up. Let's put that in there. Oop. There you go. So bobs up and down. You can see the green hue underneath it, which is going to be more apparent at night. So it glows. Looks really, really cool. Right? And then when you open it, it's kind of hard to see behind the PDA here, but it will kind of glow from the inside for a second. Right? So pretty cool. The other thing that we have here, and I don't think this is in game for you guys yet, because it didn't say anything on the email. It might be, but the recyclotron right here. So it looks a little bit different, but what this thing does is it takes an item and essentially breaks it down. So we have the visual effect right there, but if I put the repair tool in there and I close this, it essentially breaks that item down to its smallest components, right? And if it can do that further, it will. If it can't, it kind of stops at the end there. So let's go. Oop. Let's go habitat builder. And you kind of hear the effect of it being broken down. And there we go. It's broken it down to its basic parts. So we have that as well. Alright, let's go back into free cam mode here. So upon exiting here, if I'm going straight and I head to the right, you're going to run into the new Glacial Basin. So this is the Glacial Basin 2.0. And I think this is the Glacial Basin Bay right here. Alright, and there's still work they have to do on this. Okay. But we have this cool area right here. And with that comes new plants. Alright, we have multiple points that we can hop up. I've done walkthrough videos on this, so I'm not going to cover everything because this thing is very, very big now. Let's ghost in. I don't know if it'll let us scan these yet. There we go. Glacial bulb. There should be one for this. They just don't have it in game yet. So this is the new Glacial Basin here. Now these plants are really only on this side towards this entry area. Kind of wrap around for a second and then they disappear. Let's go. Another thing that we have is the ability to jam these beacons into the ground, which is really cool. So because the new Glacial Basin is so big, that is going to come in handy if you're getting lost. But let's go back into free cam mode. Let's kind of raise up here. So what they've done is they've shifted a lot of this around and added a ton of areas to this. So over here we have the Iceworm Arena and then the Arctic Spires. They're still working on the Arctic Spires. And then over here really we just have the Glacial Basin. So as I kind of go down through these pathways, we have 2 different entry points. We can go through this and bring the fog back on. We have hidden stuff in here, PDAs, I mean all types of stuff to find, areas to explore. Enter this area here, and this is where the Snow Fox base has been moved. And in the Snow Fox base, you're going to have the Precursor gate. Oh, pop in. There you go. So we have a Precursor gate here. We have a little hidden area over here, which I'm going to ghost in to showcase something else that's new. Water purification tablets. So you can take these. Whoa. And let's see if it'll let me do it in here. No. we'll go outside. You should be able to pick up snowballs. And it is not letting me do that. And I'm gonna wonder why. Alright, I'm about to figure that out. That is odd. It should let you pick up snowballs. Let's just spawn it in. Okay. So with that, you can throw snowballs, right? Did it drop that? Where is that water? There we go. So if you have a snowball and a water purification tablet and you double click it, it makes a water bottle for you. So you actually have purified water now. I don't know why that's not letting me just pick up a snowball though. They've made improvements to the Snow Fox as well. I haven't messed too much with it, but it handles a little bit better. So, quicker way to kind of navigate through here. But there are just little nooks and crannies to explore in here. You're going to find a ton of bones in here now too, of creatures. I don't think you can scan them. There it is. And then these guys will attack you with a new animation. You can throw snowballs at them, and they'll shake it off. He started to before he attacked me. And then we have the new visual effect, and that is brand new. Oh, just died. I should have put in the the console command for that. But they'll shake that off, and they have the new visual effect for throwing the snowball, right? Yeah, you don't have a base to go to, so it just spawns you here, but so we have the new visual effect for that. So let's go back into free cam mode here. Now the glacial connection is still there, by the way, so you can still go down through here. But it is a new variation of that connection. Alright, so you can see it, it'll come up through here. Still doesn't look like it's going to be one of those things that you can fit the sea truck through at all, right? But what they've done to help out is they've put, and I'm assuming they're going to add more, but we have, where is it? There we go. We have these guys right here. The ice bubbles. It doesn't show anything on it. So we have that. Then you would come straight up here. And now you get to see this other new portion with the glacial basin. With that too, in this area in particular, there are a lot of pangolins. You're going to find a ton of areas that the spy pangolin can go into. Now also, like I said, just a tremendous amount of space to explore now. And I think they've done a great job with this. So I've done other videos showcasing that. This is a whole new area, and then the frozen leviathan is in here. So I'll try to make sure some of those videos are linked to this so you guys can kind of look at those. We have a pathway in. I'm just going to float through this. So the frozen leviathan still here. Alright, still going to be a part of the story, which is awesome. Just in a different area right now. We also have really cool underwater kind of connections within the glacial basin. Now, I think the look is really cool. This being one of them. So you end up popping, and this is actually where the frozen leviathan used to be. And you can tell because as you come through here, this was the entry into that. right? So they've repurposed it. It's a tunnel that takes you from one portion of the glacial basin to another here. And we pop out. This was in game as well. They've just kind of repurposed it to fit over here now. So we still have the Altera bunker. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that you have in here, right? Going over to the other side, you have it's a tunnel right here towards the back. We can go in here, and you have the Precursor generators, so they're still in game. Yeah. Coming up to the top, Iceworm Arena is still the same. Right. We did have a Precursor gate in here, right? But that's since been moved. I'll showcase that here in a second. But all of this is the same, right? The Snow Fox now has a module to prevent it from being attacked as often from the Iceworm, which is really, really cool. And let's go over to the Arctic Spires over here. Let's see if it'll pop up. And there is a new animation for the Iceworm attacking, there we go, the Snowstalker, right? I've covered that. That's been a game in the experimental build for a while, but that'll be new for you guys. Really cool to see. Don't know if you'll get the Iceworm bones, right? And this is just kind of a prefab for what I'm thinking is going to be a carcass. We'll see on that. So this is the same here. They've kind of expanded it, pushed it back. Be curious to see what they add back here outside of the bones, because they have some elevated areas right here. I think this will be the next big thing that they work on as well. This area is the same, except it now connects over here to where you exit, which leads you kind of back to the Twisty Bridges area. So we have that. And then I'm going to float through the walls here. Now underneath all of this, though, we have this little secret area, which is where the main Precursor gate is. There we go. So this is the one that you'll actually use the ion cube, and this will take you to the Snow Fox base. So you don't have to travel that whole distance, which is cool. We also find a purple tablet fragment here as well. So that elevator, we got a pathway, leads out, and it leads us back to the kind of Glacial Bay area right here. Right, it's just hidden underneath all of this. We still have the jellyfish. They've put a lot of work just recently in the last week right through here as well, which is awesome. Jellyfish will still be in there. They've done a ton of work to the various biomes here. So this is all going to be tweaked and changed and updated so it looks better. Looks very Subnautica at the moment, right? Oops. So it's getting better and better. Man, there's been changes over here by the mining site and the outside look of it. They've just updated this. Same thing, it's where these biomes were kind of like isolated, they're now sprawling into each other. And all the little tweaks now are adding kind of those last final touches. It used to just be a tunnel that went straight down, right? Now as they've tweaked it, it looks more natural, right? We got little tunnels here. They just lead, one of them leads to an underground deal, but it leads you out, right? We have that. Let's go over here. The big tree spire biome now, and just the same thing. It's just kind of how they've changed it so that it melds into the Rocket Island. It's just updated. It looks better, right? Still needs work over there. Not a ton of major work down through here just yet. There's been a ton of work to the Purple Vents biome and the Lily Pad biome, though. So I'm going to try and cover as much as I can with this. They've completely reworked the tunneling system, so I guess I'll point that out first. There are more tunnels now. That's one of the big things, right? See that? They actually removed, I think they've just shifted it somewhere. I can't remember where it's at, though. But we did have a Precursor bounty over here. They've moved that. But yeah, so we have... This has been kind of reworked. We have this new tunnel over here that's not finished yet. Now, if we go in here for a second, though, you're also going to see kind of like... To me, they look like barnacles, but you're going to see these glowing purple, let's just call them barnacles for right now, on the roots here. And there are a lot more of them. So the density of these is really, really cool, right? They've put a lot more into this. So more tunnels to explore. All of these leading back to the... We have this way that would go, I believe, to the crashed ship. The second portion, we go this way. We'll end up at the... There you go. The kind of island here, where we have Research Base Omega, which one of the deals, I think it just calls it the destroyed base now. But Research Base Omega. So same thing, root systems with flowers now, leading back and kind of holding this together. And with this, we have more kind of just like little areas to explore. So they've really fleshed all of this out, so it looks more, like I said, natural, right? And there are a ton of these roots. Where it was just kind of straight down, it is not like that anymore, right? Little tunnels that you can go through. There's just a ton of stuff. The base is still in here. Multiple pathways still to get in there. Through the top here, 2 on the other side. But as we go through here, we'll see the base. They've just added the roots in here, right? So you have more, especially on that exiting area over there, those entry exits over there. In terms of the base itself, it's pretty much the same, right? So we have PDAs and things like that are in there, but it stayed pretty much the same. So we have this, and this will transition down into the deep lily pad biome, where you're now going to see these roots are kind of in here as well. There's not as many, they're kind of finishing it out, but we do have some, right? Leading to that centerpiece. So it just adds to this biome, looks a little bit better. Other than that, not a ton of work in the deep lily pad biome. So let's go over to the next big thing that's been changed, the purple vents biome. Over here they've added new rock textures, which reminds me I need to cover something with the glacial basin here in a minute. So they've kind of reworked this. It used to be a wall that kind of kept you encased. They've, for the most part, completely removed that, and now it just kind of tears down. I just call these termite mounds. So we have these in here now, right? New grass. They've changed the look of the pools and everything that they have in here. And then we'll find new rocks, and just how the same thing, how they've kind of integrated this into the other biomes looks better, right? And I think they do that very, very well. Alright, let's see if we can find some. There we go. Alright, so we have these new rocks. Right, just added more texture so it doesn't look as flat. You can see a bunch over here. So we have that. And then now as you go into this other entry point into the crystal caves, and I'll get to this stuff here in a minute. They've reworked this area, right? We still have this Precursor bounty here. But as you go in here, they've actually, it was just a huge opening. They've changed that. Now you have kind of different formations in here that are connecting these areas. So it's not just an open space. You have all these things to kind of move around. Let's bring the fog back on. Right. So, and I think it looks really, really cool. So the map size isn't as big. I mean, a lot of people know that already, but the amount of detail that they've put into this world and all the smaller areas to explore, it feels really big when you're playing it. And then they've changed this. It's not the big opening anymore. With this, it's a tighter fit that you'll have to go through to get down. Right. Still leads to the crystal caves. That hasn't really changed much. Alright, so we have this. That'd be the next thing. Next thing to cover. This area over here, because they've reworked the story, they've also kind of tweaked this area here to kind of fit with that, change the map a little bit. So you have a lot more icebergs, bigger ones too. And with this, one of the cool things is we have the kind of shelf ice here. You have these huge ice chunks that are floating around here. And then in here, we have a new secret area. This is still being worked on, so I don't know if this is going to be in this release or if this is still just in the experimental. But you can see all these tunnels, right? And they lead to this little secret area. I don't know how to get in there yet, but it leads into here. You can't bust the ice yet with anything that I found, but you do get to go in here. So something to look forward to with that. Let's bring back the water volume, right? So yeah, really cool stuff that they're adding over here. I'm excited to see. So this to me looks like placeholder texture, and that they're gonna tweak that a little bit more. More shelf ice areas. A lot of this is still the same here, right? We have the Precursor or the Architect satellite here, this little island. And if we go all the way over here, though, you will find Marg's greenhouse. Now, I've showcased the 3 different encounters that you have with Marg on a separate video, so I'll let you guys look at that. Also, the last video that I recorded yesterday, it showcased the new interaction with Alan and how he gets kind of in your brain, and I'll make sure that that's linked as well so you guys can look at that. Just because I don't want to include all the story stuff in this video for you. And then we have a ton, if they'll all load in, we have a ton of lily pads. So there are a lot of these things now when they all officially load in. There we go. And you can actually stand on these. I mean, that's been in the game obviously for a while, but when you're on top, right, there's a ton. Alright. Alright, and next thing I do want to cover. So over here, you're going to have, I forget what they're called them. I'm going to look it up here in a second. But just kind of scattered throughout the biome. Let's see if we can find one somewhere. Here we go. You're going to find these little areas that just have minerals for you. And like I said, they're scattered throughout the biome, because that was one of the questions I had initially, which was, alright, how do you build stuff? If you want us to be in there longer, how do you actually build stuff in these biomes if you don't have access to the stuff that you need with this? So with this is the ore veins that you have. And like I said, you can find these kind of scattered just throughout the biome here. They're going to have various things. A lot of times you're finding titanium or you're finding copper, right? And I think you can find quartz in some areas as well. So I'm going to end this video with that. I'm going to link the videos to the other stuff so you guys can look at that. There's a ton that they put into this thing for you guys, and I know a lot of people have been waiting to see and play the latest updates and the new story. Keep in mind there's going to be a lot of chunks that there's no voice work. The dialogue's there, but there's no voice work. And what I'm going to do is do a live video probably tomorrow, where I'm going to start to play through some of this, so you guys can watch that as well. Maybe you're waiting for it to come out on console, but what I haven't seen is the connection of these story bits to each other. So that'll be the interesting thing that I want to see. Well, okay, straight out. And then how to also, with this, get the quantum locker and some of those other items where I just don't know how you actually get that just yet. So that is going to be it for this video. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.